Wellness Show, episode number 404.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Bannigan, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Welcome to The Wellness Show on health, wealth, and enlightenment. And I'm your host, Tyhson Bannigan, and this is my lovely co-host, Laura Coil.
Good morning.
And we're with you for the next hour to answer all your questions of dowsing, energy, healing, what's up in your life, and what's up on planet Earth. Lots is going on, lots of change and transformation. It doesn't seem like it slows down. Somebody's pushed the pedal to the metal, and this is really quite exciting times. So just to slow things down, we're going to talk about the end of it all, which is death and dying, right? So death and dying. So that's the topic for today. And don't forget, this is Promotional Thursday. What does that mean? It means that if you've been participating, and thank you all everybody who's in the dowsing and energy healing closed Facebook group, we're closely coming up to 4,000 members. Thank you all very much. Thank you for participating. So if you've been participating and answering and helping everybody as a community, this is your one and only day in the week where you can promote your awesome gifts to the whole group of 4,000 people. So take advantage of that. If you are a coach, wellness provider, heart-centered entrepreneur, and you're a member of the group and you participated, it's your chance to market yourself, right?
Right.
And you'll have on each one of the things, if you wouldn't mind putting hashtag promo Thursday on it. If you don't, I will. So that just is a signal. Anybody who's in the group knows, oh, that's not Tyhson or Laura saying amazing things that they always do, but that's somebody promoting their stuff, which we want to support, by the way. And also, if you've been interviewed on the Wellness Show, then by being part of the closed wellness group, you get to market your stuff, your latest and greatest, because you've been interviewed on the Wellness Show, and you're considered part of the inner tribe, right? That's the gift that we offer for those that we've been able to interview, because we want to help you grow your community, and in return, we'd love for you to grow our community.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you'd like to share the Wellness Show to your network and receive a Backstage pass, that would be wonderful. We're looking at more gifts that we can offer you, like access to courses and also goodies. And we're working on what that will look like behind the scenes as we move towards launching the Wellness Academy. Yeah, lots of work in the back going on here. So without further ado, death and dying. And we were just talking about that just before we went live. And so I guess we were already starting to think about this topic. So Laura, do you want to talk about what we're talking about?
Well, the way that I met Tyhson was that I was being psychically attacked at the time, and was at the end of like the crossroads, is what I'm going to say. So either I was going to call it quits, or I was going to transcend and do what I'm doing now, which is stay here and continue doing this work. And God sent me to Tyhson, unbeknownst to me. I was like, we had been connected 2 years earlier about the Rainbow Children's Academy. And because I'm rainbow, or at least I've been told that I'm a rainbow. And so I called him, and not knowing why, and then I figured it out, and he figured it out pretty quickly that I needed the deep cleaning protocol. And in that, I was explaining to him this morning that one of his gifts is to attract people that are like me, that were like me at that time, where your vibration is still high, but you still have a lot of potential. But at the time, whatever is going on in your life has brought you down into the depths of despair, right? And there was a lot that God has been asking of me. And so he'll take you down as far as you can go, um, to then bring you back up. And so, in explaining that to Tyson, I think that he understands now why he will attract people that are, of lower energies and that take advantage of him, because he sees their highest potential. And it's part of our gift is to be able to discern between highest potential and where they are now. And in right, like at this level, so when he met me, I was not at my highest potential, but now he's like working with me and we work together. Now I have my confidence back and I love my work and but I still have a BS meter, and that's from my father. Thank you, God. Thank you, Dad. Um, that I can tell what is not good. And the one of the groups that Tyson was, giving money to was not a good. Their intentions were to take from people in America and on this land, because they feel like, and it has been propaganda. How do you say that? Propaganda. The propaganda is that America is like paved with gold, and that, even in Canada they're very rich and that they can have everything. And so people from other lands that have never been here, that don't understand it, feel like it's okay to take advantage of us, which it's not, because we're in our roads are not paved of gold. So when I explained that to him, he was like, "Oh, that's kind of like death and dying," which is true because it's that same energy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, something has to die in order for you to be reborn.
Hmm.
And
And
in
that's a
fact,
beautiful gift.
my favorite button, and I don't know where it is now, is that, and hopefully I don't offend anybody, but the whole Christian concept of being born again.
Hmm.
My favorite button said, "Be born again and again and again and again,"
Yeah.
because there's lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and if I'm not just an embodied soul,
Hmm.
then I'm something greater than this incarnation. I'm greater than my physical body. Therefore,
Hmm.
I'm beyond birth and death. I'm becoming it, and I'm becoming more holistic. And I'm also prepared to know that there's this lifetime and the next lifetime and the other, and past lifetimes. And that the exciting thing about now, I think, is that for the first time in our evolution, at least on this planet, is all of that's collapsing into the now. So whatever you had in the past, in your
Hmm.
memory, and whatever you're going to be doing in the future, all those timelines are collapsing into what we call the now, because a concept of time is only an illusion, right? E equals mc squared. So energy equals matter times the speed of light squared. The speed of light is time. But Einstein, before he died, said that E equals mc squared is actually consciousness. Actually, it's your heart chakra. It's the love energy. And when you're in your heart, you can transmute matter into energy and energy into matter. That's the whole basis of manifestation. And it comes from your heart. That's what Einstein was trying to get at. But he said it was too early in in our evolution
Hmm.
for us to be able to understand that and accept that. In fact, we got busy with Einstein to build the bomb. So you can see we got a little derailed on the humanistic aspect of why Einstein incarnated and what gifts he brought to humanity. So again, energy transforming into matter. You could look at energy and becoming matter and think that's death, because all of a sudden there's no more energy, or there's the matter and it's gone, like death. And you think, oh my God, that's terrible, it's gone. But no, there's just coming and going. So the birth and death is just trying to label something that's always in process, right?
Absolutely.
It's either becoming or it's going. And it's all one, as above, so below, as within, as without. So
Mhm.
the book I really, really love on this topic is called The Tibetan Book of the living and dying.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my favorite books because, like Krishnamurti taught, unless you're prepared to die in this moment, you're not fully alive. So being alive in this moment is really being able to know that I'm living at my fullest potential in this moment. And even if I croaked in the next moment,
Right.
I was living to the best I could. I mean, I would be able to say, you know, I was able to check off most of my bucket list, right? I got it done. I felt complete, right? So that's the feeling of living on the edge of possibility. And that's what Laura was saying. But that edge can get scary because, as she said, God pushes you to have another intimate relationship or a deeper intimate relationship with God or source consciousness, and will push you into the polarity of who you be, the shadow of yourself, to force you to wrestle with that in the shadow of the valley of death, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be able to face that darker part of yourself so that you can come further into the light. So that's the test.
One of the beautiful things about you, Tyson, is that you do work, and we've talked about this. You've had some clients that you and I couldn't even help because they're being tested at such a level that God is like, no, they still need to learn more about themselves. And so what we've learned is to let them go and let them continue to on their journey alone, that you can't help everyone. In the deep cleaning protocol is to clear out those things so then you can heal and become enlightened on your own. It doesn't make you enlightened. It doesn't make you healed or better. It gives you the openness to be able to do it yourself. Does that make sense? Because like for me, I had to go down deep so that God was like, if you're going to work for me and if you're going to channel me, then I need to know that you're in it 100%, that
Right.
you're not going to get enticed by the devil. And because the devil is very enticing. Money, power, greed, envy, lust, sex, all of that, like all of those, the 7 deadly sins are what we constantly have to make sure that we're in balance with, and that we're not leaning to or fro one way or the other, that we're doing this because this is the word that we want to get out, the light, right?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. And I always like to go to the positive. I'm somewhat of a stubborn person and don't tell me what to do. And my sweetie Sarah will confirm that. So I want to go to the virtue side of it. So in one of the latest interviews with Amy Jo Ellis, we talked about the virtues. What are the virtues? Like there's the 7 deadly sins. What are the 7 virtues? Because if you can focus on the positive, and instead of worrying about the negative, oh, ain't I bad, rotten, and wrong, or worried about the judgment of other people that you got wrong, or the church are going to condemn you because you didn't do that, and you're going to hellfire, or it's going to rain down on your head, and you're going to go to hell. That gets overwhelming for me, right? That's like feeling like I'm being pushed down. If I can go to the virtue side of it, then I know that if in the covenant between me and my creator, if I can fulfill these virtues, then creator will be there for me. So that's the positive side.
That's what makes you so good with people like where I was at that time, because you could have been like, girl, I don't know who you working for, but you're not working for who I'm working for, so I'm out of here. But what you see is potential in somebody to be able to bloom out of it, right? So you see the virtues. You don't see the negative part of it, which is what I love about you, but it's also, has to be like balanced out too, right? I mean, it's a balancing game for us, right?
Right.
So I clear out demons. I could just leave them in the on this plane just to go and wreak havoc on somebody else. But no, I choose to like show them the light and show them a different way and cross them over so that they don't continue to wreak havoc. And that's the difference between us and like what we do, because there's a fine line there, right?
Yeah,
We
there is a
create
fine line.
we could create more negativity and more hate and more disdain in the world. But what we do is we look for it to then bring it to a different plane, and there's a balancing act there. It's very difficult for people to understand what it is that we do, because we're called to do something that most people couldn't do. That balancing act, you guys, that is extremely difficult. And so we all just have to understand that the light and the dark. Oh, what did I say yesterday? There's a fine line between psychic and psycho.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that person who is going psycho, if you're having voices in your head, then you need to phone me. Let's put it that way. If you're being tortured by the devil or whatever you think is, let's call it the devil. The First Nations would just say spirits. They don't, it's a Christian term to label it as Satan or the devil or an adversary, right?
Lucifer.
Or Lucifer. It's just, well, Lucifer's a little different. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. The point is, because Lucifer's a light bearer.
Yeah.
He's bringing you the light. And in fact, every one of the things that we say is the dark of the dark is bringing you the light. That's the gift that they're bringing. And when you go, oh, no. Like I just had a phone call. This wonderful First Nations lady, she phoned me when she was being admitted into the psychiatric ward. And I said, I want you to act normal. I want you to tell them that you're just doing fine. Everything's under control. Don't talk about what's going on with you. Get blankety blank out of there. Once you're out of there, phone me. Well, my mom and dad want me in there. Let me talk to your mom and dad. The point that I'm trying to make is when that's happening, you are going through a psychosis. And it is a death of your ego. It's a death of your framework. It's a death of what we're talking about. It's death. It's a death that allows you to rebirth. And if you get committed to a psychiatric ward, and excuse me, but I'm just going to say it, and you take drugs, then you're blocking the ability of your body and mind to go through the transformation and change and healing that it needs. It's just like putting a stick through the rungs on a bicycle and grinding it to a halt and keeping them in that halted position so they can't heal. Okay, so I would rather be able to work with you and say, like this same person said, well, Tyhson, the clearing is really working, but I'm getting the satanic, energy, the devil's showing up in my dreams. And I said, great, fantastic. She said, what do you mean? She was really quite upset with me. I said, but look, it's not an underling, right? You got the top of the chain. I said, it means you're ready to graduate. I mean, if Satan comes to your door, open the door and say, what are you doing here? Good to meet you, because it means I'm ready to graduate, right?
Means that God's asking more of you.
Exactly. And what the solution is, hey, glad to meet you, Satan. Your job is over. I don't have any more fear of you whatsoever. I've committed and given my life to Christ or to God or to source or however you want to describe it. I am a servant of the divine, and I am now untouchable. Thank you very much for forcing me to realize that at some point I needed to surrender. At some point I needed to get on a bended knee. I had to decide, was I going to come forever from my ego, or was I going to come from my true nature, connected to source and to God? That was the choice.
But ego does serve a good purpose, though, too, because it is what we need to humble within ourselves.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying kill the ego. I'm just saying the ego is not running the show.
But some people will take that, oh, ego's bad and we shouldn't have it. It's there as a balance. It's as the fulcrum, right?
Nothing needs to be crucified. Nothing needs to hang on a cross. Nobody needs to be a martyr, not even your ego. Everything in the universe is the way that it should be. As crazy as it looks, especially in the world right now, it is unfolding exactly as it should. To be able to hold that balance between life and death, good and bad, right and wrong, or whatever polarity you want, and say, wow, it's just the way that it is. How can I how can I be the observer of this without being overwhelmed? How can I know that I'm one with source and that I'm not caught in this trauma of trying to figure this out or choose a side or condemn somebody else for not wearing the mask or whatever, or being a Republican or a Democrat? Can I just let it be?
Or accusing your abusers of being the ones that are doing it to you, when you realize that you have the sovereignty, the power to overcome your abusers, then, and you heal those that have abused you. And you, like I've asked God lately, I said, God, will you please send me the person that I'm supposed to be with that is like me but better? Instead of, because I used to always say it to somebody else that I was very much in love with and that I thought was the end all, the be all. Okay, God, can you send me him or somebody like him but better? But what I kept getting were liars and people who had beautiful hearts, and they're amazing people in some ways, but in other ways their dark side was still really not there. Whereas I've already been through that with you. Thank you, Tyson. So now I'm asking God to send me somebody like myself, but even better, right? Now I'm going to get somebody that's either at my level or somebody who can help me to up, right? To like move up. So I'm moving past the abuse of my past and moving forward out of it. Instead of looking at other people as though they were abusing you, you look at yourself as to, why am I attracting abusers? Does that make sense?
And there's even another level to that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, nobody is being abused, and the abuser and the abused have made a soul contract. I know this is radical, but they've made a soul contract on the other side to play this out on this realm, and it looks horrific from everybody else's point of view. Bad, Black Lives Matter, and all of that is being played out as a drama to raise consciousness, because there was an agreement before this incarnation. So the murderer and the murderer and the one that's murdered will hug each other and thank each other on the other side. Now think about it as souls. Like, Laura, you're going to ask me, I want to experience this for my own soul growth, what it is to be murdered because I need to balance off my karma or whatever. And what would it be like for me to say, okay, I'll put up my hand and I'll be the person that comes and murders you so you can have that experience? And then I'd have to say, yeah, but my soul is in question when I do that, because I've committed a deadly sin. Are you going to be there to rescue me and help me return to the light, or are you going to let me descend into hell? I mean, I'm saying this metaphorically. I don't believe in heaven and hell, but you get the point of what I'm trying to say is, the darker you are, the darker the job that you signed up for, the more difficult at the end of the job is to find your way back to the light, because otherwise you're on a downward spiral. You karmically, you created a mess for yourself. So what I'm trying to say is, when people volunteer to do that, to raise your consciousness, they're putting themselves in harm's way. And therefore, when you come and have compassion, right, and help them, then the healing can occur. So this whole thing of eye for an eye in the courts, and he should have been locked up for the rest of life, or he should have gone to death chambers, or I'm going to get my justice and all that. I mean, I know that is a gut reaction that we have, but without forgiveness, there's no healing. Without forgiveness, the whole aspect of why that role was played out can't complete. It means the karma that was incurred in that situation will roll over from generation to generation to generation until it gets dealt with, right? So it's really important. So to go back to the whole thing of death and dying, unless you're prepared to die in this moment, you're not fully awake. And of course, the Bible says, whoever believes in me, though he dies, shall he live again. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will never die.
Exactly. And that's powerful when you actually look into it.
All right, welcome to the Wellness Show. And who are we talking to? Ah,
Guess who?
guess who? And how are you? Guess who?
Thank you.
You're doing fine. Okay.
Yes, I'm back on this side.
On this side of what? Of the Atlantic, the Pacific?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm back in the North America.
Yeah. So how was that trip? Was it difficult to get back?
Well,
Are you in quarantine?
I did quarantine. I did 3 weeks or almost 3 weeks.
Wow.
So I was finished on when was it?
And you flew in
I
from
was finished on Saturday.
was it Bermuda? Did I get that right?
No, thank you. Jamaica.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jamaica.
You don't have to be sorry.
No, but I that was my grandfather's favorite place to be. I have pictures of him of Jamaica. That was his first love, was Jamaica. Yeah. And it's
So I'm back here.
and are you back for good or are you just visiting family? What's up?
I live here.
Oh, you live here. So what were you doing in Jamaica? I thought that's where you lived. Is that where you
That's where I was born.
Yeah, okay, so you were visiting family, were you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a good visit,
Good.
and now I'm back. But then I guess I'll have to sooner or later decide where I want to be.
Yeah, that's a tough choice. I
Yes.
would tend to go for Jamaica, but that's just me. But
Well, yes, but I've lived here for, I was married for 35 years, and I've lived here for at least 40 years or more.
yeah, so that you have lots
He's
of
an
roots here.
interesting accent
Yes.
too.
So how can we?
No family really.
No, but friends.
Quite a few friends.
All right. So
I
what?
don't know.
So what can we do for you today?
Yes, I guess I don't know.
You don't know.
Probably just since I've been back, my nose is getting all stuffy.
All right.
With this allergy or what, so maybe just
All right. Let's clear you of all allergies.
clearing for wellness, I guess.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, we'll let you go, and we'll do a clearing
Yes,
for
thank
you
you.
and everybody on the
And
call.
what's the lady's name? I forget her name.
Her name is Laura.
Laura. I tell her I just came back, so I'll give her a call.
She's going to give you a call.
Okay, who is this?
Thank you.
All right. She doesn't even know who you are. What's your name?
Oh, that's Valerie.
Yeah, it's Valerie.
Oh, Valerie, yeah, I've been.
She
That's
sent me a homeopathic
coming
drink,
up.
but I just got it since I came back. So
Okay, no
All right.
worries.
All
Tell her
right.
I'm not
We'll
worried
get you
about
cleaned up, and then we'll just do a clearing around all your stuffy noses. Thank you, Valerie, for phoning
yeah,
in.
thank you, and thank you. Have a good day, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Valerie's a regular, and thank you, Valerie, for phoning in. And let's just do a clearing here. So I, Tyson Bannigan, and my I Am Presence, undertake a clearing for all the allergies and all of the crazy viruses and stuffy noses and fear, doubt, shame, guilt, and all the stuff we were talking about. For those that are on the precipice of making the decision between life and death, may you have the courage to take back your personal power and to call in spirit as you're standing on that cliff. Remember, you have a choice to jump or leap and sprout wings. And I suggest you leap and sprout wings. And so I clear you throughout all time, space, and dimensions, throughout all multi-dimensional levels of reality, through your matriarchal, patriarchal lineages, soul, family, star family, and family of origin. And I declare it so be it, it is done.
Amen.
Lots of energy there. Oh my goodness. Like that's just like going like
They're
crazy.
still going really hard too. Yeah, mine too.
So lots of stuff. Yeah, this is a time I think where many people are on the edge. There's more abuse in families. There's more young people committing suicide. There's more people giving up. Their whole life that was is crashing. They're in the midst of dying of what was. They're afraid of what could be born or something can't be born in their lives. This is really a time of transmutation, transformation, of death and dying, right across the board on every level: personal, planetary, relationship, marriage, everything, schools, everything is in question needs to be reconfigured and rethought of. What is normal is no longer normal. We don't even know what normal is, thank goodness. So this is such a unique opportunity. On one side, it's scary because you're looking at what's not working. But
Right.
on the other side, it's so exciting, right? Because it's a new birth, it's a new beginning, it's a new opportunity to create a new earth. So can you hold that in the balance? And I know so many are on that cliff, like Laura talked about, where it's just so scary and you don't know whether you're going to jump and commit suicide or whether you're going to make the leap of faith and bring in the divine spirit or make a connection with Christ or something stronger than you, or become a sovereign human being in that moment. Because in that moment is the opportunity for enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opportunity for that aha, for that flash of brilliance, for that flash that's in the Kabbalah, that flash that's in the tarot card that comes from the tower, that aha, that illumination when you say, blankety blank, I can't do this on my own. I surrender. God, do with me what you will, thy will be done. I've had it. I give up.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my ego can't figure this out. And when you're at that point, then the heavens open up, so to speak, and you have all the divine power to take back your personal power and stand in your truth and deal with whatever it is that's harassing you, whether it's the devil incarnate, his second cousin or third cousin, or any of his minions or whatever. You'll have the energy in that moment to be able to take back your power and resist it and graduate yourself. That's your test. So if that's you and you want some help and you don't want to phone in now because it's difficult, then you can always get hold of us. How to get hold of us and book a session with us are in the show notes. So take advantage of it. It's a free 15-minute session. And on my side, I don't know what your free session is, but I think is it 15 or 30 minutes?
I actually don't ever do free ones, but
All right.
ask me. If you ask me for them, I'll give them. Like I'll sit on the phone with you for as long as it takes to figure it out. But
my 15 minutes is basically goes like this. So what's up in your life?
mm-hmm.
And are you prepared to do the work? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'll help you do the work. That's basically what my 15 minutes is. And you say, no, I'm not ready to do the work. I'll say, well, fine. When you are, phone me back and we'll get to work. And if you say, no, I'm ready to commit and do some work, I said, well, okay, here's what we could do. Here's
Mm-hmm.
the ABCs. What would you like to do? How can I help you? What program can we stick you in? Get you from where you are to want to be. So that's the 15 minutes. That's my assessment of whether there's a match. Whether you believe that I can help you solve the dilemma in your life. Now, notice how I said that. Not rescue, not use a silver bullet and kill everybody, or give all the demons and everything. Vacate. Eviction notice. I'm going to say I can help you learn how to do this for yourself. Are you ready and willing to do it? Yes or no?
Right.
Right.
And that's what God has called us to do on a higher level. And how do you say this? On a higher level, but it's on a lower level too. So he asks us to go deep down into the darkness to bring people into their greatest abilities. And that's what I love about working with the people that I'm working with now, is that you bring them up into a different vibration, and then they start to teach you. Because it's always, and I know that this is true for you as well, Tyson, is that when I work with other people, I learn so much from them.
Yeah, it gets embarrassing. We're not sure who should be paying who.
Sometimes, right? But I think that there's a clearness though too, that even when my clients come for a reading, there'll be times when I'll be like, thank you, God. I know that that's why they're here, because they're going through similar things to what I'm going through. And then I'll get the messages that I'm supposed to get. Like last night I had a dream that I lost my cell phone, and somebody took it and I was like, boy, all my stuff is on there, right? Everything that I need is on there. And then I thought, no, everything that I need is within me. I don't need my cell phone. And I was like, well, how's my sister going to get a hold of me? And then I was like, oh, well, I still have my computer, so I can just FaceTime, how do you say it? Messenger on Facebook. Like there's other ways of getting a hold of people other than just my phone. I'll be okay without my phone. And in my dream, when I woke up, I was like, boy, what does my phone represent? What is it that's on the phone that I need to let go of? What is it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, well, it's like it's outer technology that you don't need because you're already psychic and communicate with your sister telepathically, right? So,
mhm,
and in fact, this technology gets in the way of us assuming our spiritual powers because we're running around with this technology, which, by the way, pollutes the heck out of the planet and puts a lot of poverty in the hands of people that are making the phones and getting really poor wages and locked in, you know, in warehouses that they can't escape if there's a fire. So, I mean, this little iPhone here is, if we wanted to do an assessment, a full audit on this is really, really horrible to not only the planet, but to humanity for the ability to communicate any way I want, when in actual fact, spiritually, I should be learning how to do it without all that technology. So what I'm saying is technology is our excuse not to do the inner work.
well, I also turned off my Wi-Fi and my router last night. It goes off at a certain time now and goes back on at a certain time. So at night while I sleep, it's no longer available to the house. So is that part of that maybe too? Is that I'm like recognizing that it's okay to power down?
Yeah, I think that, one of the things for people that are hypersensitive, and that's what the deep clearing is all about. If you're hypersensitive, and for example, if you're so sensitive that you can't even sit in a car to go for a ride because every bump in the road just is too much for you, then you are highly sensitized to, like, in other words, your body's in crisis. And what that means is you don't know how to dump the energy of the electromagnetic frequencies that we are being bombarded with smartphones, cell phone towers, smart meters, and all the rest. And that's on your channel. And as an empath, you're receiving all this, but you don't have a grounding rod. So when I helped somebody who was about to go for a car ride, she hasn't done this for a long time because she can't stand the vibration of the car. I worked with Harold and we installed a copper grounding rod from her for the last 3 chakras, right? And then hooked it up to the center of the heart of Mother Earth to ground it. And it was amazing with that grounding that happened. The energy went down through the rod and then it came up like this and came down through the crown chakra, and we put a filter at the crown chakra to take all the extraneous non-beneficial energies out.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to form butterfly wings, and the person started to transform into a butterfly, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the antenna came up because the psychic powers increased exponentially because all that dumping of the energy that was non-beneficial allowed for more divine energy to come through the crown chakra. And the person was lit up like a white butterfly. I went, whoa, that's amazing. This is working with Harold, right? I can't take credit for it. Thank you, Harold. I mean, that was amazing, right? So it was a tube torus. I could see the full tube torus. So if you're hypersensitive to electromagnetic energy, the deep clearing protocol will get you on that path, and you can do some work with this to ground you. So all of those electromagnetic frequencies that have nothing to do with you are just draining and making you not be able to sleep. We can ground that and help you be more comfortable in your body.
And is it a ground, like a, how do you say it? They have those mats for your bed.
Yeah, just think of it, all electricity, the craziness that we've created on this planet with electricity is everything has to be grounded. And why does that have to be grounded? With a proper rod into the earth, because it travels back through the earth to the source where the energy came from, right? Mm-hmm. So, and stray electric is, that can kill cows and in farms and everything, is when that backflow gets caught this, like it's a samskara or cut in an electromagnetic field, they can't return, and then there's a pool of electricity. People can get shocked and they can get sick and all that.
You know, what happened was on Saturday night, my electricity went out at 9 o'clock at night, and it didn't come in after, it was after 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was asleep, and I slept till 9 o'clock that next morning, which I never sleep that late, ever. So that's what made me think that maybe I need to like turn it off to be able to sleep more soundly and later.
Yeah, well, why don't you try it? I would, well, here's what I would suggest you do. There's two things you can do. One is you just take the breaker that's in your bedroom and turn it off. Or better yet is you just go turn the master breaker off, which means all your clocks and everything have to be reset. It shuts everything off, but do it for a night or do it for 3 nights with the master breaker off and see how you sleep. And if you sleep better, then you need to do some more work. One of the things is copper coil. I'm listening to a video this morning about how to use a copper coil in the bed, which I have in my bed, right, which is grounded through the electrical circuit and grounds me so I can sleep more easily. And also I have radionics generator that's connected to the ley line that goes out through Mount Ida. So energetically, I can create a tube torus for your bed that grounds you. It will put the electricity back through the ground, come back through Mount Ida, back to my generator, wherever you're in the world, and create the psychic circuit, or that's higher than the physicality of the electrical, but on the spiritual level, return that cycle and keep you clear. So that's something I can offer.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing, and it's using sprouted wheat, so it has a living entity in there that has made an agreement to work with me energetically. So it's a living from wheat. So think of this. There's 3 foods of the god. In Central America, it's corn. And in North America, it's wheat. And in Asia, it is rice. These are the 3 grains of the gods that feed humanity, right? So when you work with the energy of any one of those, you're working with God directly through that food source to raise the vibrational frequency of that human being. That's my belief system, and the results are amazing. So I put that energy into bracelets, into copper, abilities to increase the growth of trees and all sorts of different ways that I use this technology.
So you sell this?
So when you
sell this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
what's it called?
Well, it's, if you go over to the wellness store, you'll look at, there's bracelets in different sizes and forms, and you can ask to have it with sprouted wheat, and that will increase the factor by a power of 5, right?
Is that, but I meant for the copper coil in your bed.
Oh, that isn't in the store, but I would charge something like $150 to do that, and I do have the tubing to do that. But yeah, I mean, we've done the experiments on that and tested it out, and I know that it does work. And we were just resetting up the radionics machine in the garden, the broadcaster. So, and I was in the workshop, and I know there's copper tubing, so I could make one. There's also GAIN, G-A-N, and I'm working with this. This is Kesh's work, the Kesh Foundation. G-A-N.
Your book, Gains?
G-A-N, GAIN. And it's working with 5th and 6th dimensional energy. And that too can go into a copper tube. I was just looking at it this morning, which may have a higher potential than even sprouting wheat to do the clearings. I know it increases the growth of trees. And in actual fact, the Kesh Foundation just released a new publication where they say that they have the solution for the coronavirus. Of course, it got, the announcement when it was put on Facebook got deleted, as incorrect evidence or information. So, this is important to say to everybody on this show. All the technology to heal planet Earth, all the technology to do whatever we need to do, has already been created, okay?
Right.
It's already there. All it has to be is implemented. I mean, the turnaround from once the mind control on this planet, once the whole mind control comes down, which is in the way of coming down, it will take less than 3 months or less to turn everything around. That's how quickly we can do this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's exciting to me. So if we talk about a new earth or a new world or a new way of being, that's why the more people's consciousness that we can help raise, the more we raising the collective energy, the quicker we can create this, the 100th monkey idea, where, that story, right? Where,
Absolutely.
one monkey washes the vegetables and another monkey sees it, and then a critical mass with maybe the 100th monkey. Every monkey on every island everywhere is washing vegetables before they eat it, right? To clear the sand. And so this is the 100th monkey. What is the tipping point to bring about enlightenment or another level of consciousness where war, right? And the matrix can dissolve as the modus operandum for planet Earth. And it's like, opening the prison bars for Prison Planet and saying, hey, you're all free. Pretty exciting when you think about it. So the Keshe is when he says he has this technology, this is not fluffy stuff. This is for real. He does have that technology, and it's coming from source consciousness, and he's giving it to humanity. But humanity says, no, I don't want it. Now, when we say humanity, I'm talking about those that are in control say, no, we're not giving up control. So no, you can't release that, right? You have to, so to find this information, you have to go through the back door.
Right.
Yeah.
So can I read what Debbie Summers has written about?
Sure.
This was a while back, but she said, this makes so much sense. You said someone dies for you to be reborn. It was my brother. He held me back my whole life. He never wanted me born and would hurt me. Now I know why I'm changing. And she said, Laura, remember when you asked me what was holding me back? Now I know what it was. So that's one of those things too with the deep cleaning protocol. When you do it, things will happen, and then you have the clearing, the ability to then recognize what it was that's been holding you back your whole life. That's why we encourage people to do the deep cleaning protocol, not because the deep cleaning protocol heals you, but because it clears you so that you can do your own healing and recognize and have your own awareness and become your own sovereign human being. That's why all the people that have done the deep cleaning protocol, nobody is afraid of what's going on the planet right now. We're all like sitting there going, it's all good. It's all good. Watching everybody run around like crazy around us while we're sitting there in peace and in balance. That's what the deep cleaning protocol does. That's why I encourage people that are watching to allow other people to then hear and understand what the deep cleaning protocol does, and allow other people that want it, that are on the edge, well, should I or shouldn't I, to just take the leap and do it.
Yeah, I thank you for that, because I don't think we explain that well enough when we talk about the deep clearing protocol. It brings you clarity, brings you wisdom, and therefore you will see through the net or the neural network way, or you'll see through the matrix and see things the way they are, and you can settle down. You can see your way. You're guided through this maze to see the truth in everything. It just because your energy isn't consumed by trying to deal with overwhelm, right? And so it allows you to open your eyes in a very safe environment. And if you're an empath, you're spending most of your time out of body. And this makes it feel safe to be in your body because you're not threatened by those forces that were threatening you before. So now you can come home, you can be reborn, which to me is what reborn really means. When you think about the Christian perspective on that, being reborn is getting out of the way to allow the Christ consciousness or the higher spirit, or however you want to call it, the God of your choice, to come in and allow that void to be filled because you've made room for it. It's just like a full glass can't take more water, and you can dump some of it out.
And understand this, before I met Tyson, I went to church. I tried to find it within church, even to like, can somebody help me here? Nothing worked until I got the deep cleaning protocol. And I'll say that I did a lot of crying, and but not a lot of peace came from it. And the peace came with the deep cleaning protocol, just so that we have an understanding of that as well.
But you know, it's everywhere. I mean, in working with the First Nations people, it's there as well. But this technology of transformation, this ancient wisdom that we're talking about, has always been here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that for some reason, we've forgotten of this process of what it means to clear yourself, that the power of intention, called the power of prayer. So think of it this way: the power of prayer is asking for divine intervention, and there's nothing wrong with that, asking for divine intervention. But God's saying, God helps those that help themselves. So helping yourself, one of the ways that you can do it is doing the work of the deep clearing protocol. So you're doing your work, God then can help you do what you need to do. It brings you enlightenment. It gives you the flashes of understanding that you didn't have before. This is the covenant that you're making. It's a two-way street. So if you're just praying, asking for miracles, it's not going to happen, right? Because the miracle is in the day-to-day, and you can't even see the miracle of it appearing because you're too busy with the chaos in your life. The miracle's always there. You know, the aha, the synchronicity, the right person to tell you what you need. You know, the peace is already delivered to your door, but you can't see it. You're not in the right dimension to see that that's already delivered. So when you get out of your own way through the deep clearing, it opens that door, and there it is. There's everything you've been asking there. So this is why it's so important to do your side of the work. So spirit, God, you know, source, whatever, you know, the God of whatever you want to call it, can assist you to do the reclamation, the rebirth, you know, to go through the death and be reborn anew, right? Unless you're willing to die in this moment, you're not fully alive, right? That's what it says in the Bible. That's what Krishnamurti taught. That's what every is in the whole book. This is not the Tibetan book of dying. This is the Tibetan book of living and dying, because the two are the same side, different sides of the same coin. You have to be comfortable with death before you can be alive, which comes back to the whole thing with COVID-19 and senior citizens' homes, right? If we don't take care of the dying of our senior citizens, then we're not fully alive as a culture, because we've let the wisdom of all the generations be just thought of as trash, and therefore we have no respect, right?
I have somebody coming to the door. Hold on. I got to go take it.
All right, go take it. All right. So the lines are still open. We have about, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes. So if you'd like to join the conversation, receive a clearing, or help you get off the precipice between life and death, give us a call. And don't forget, if it's too scary for you and it's too personal, there's always a linkage that you can link in the wellness show, in the show notes, that will help you find us. So we really encourage you to do that. And just to talk about the upcoming course, which calls Dowsing 101, but I really realized this morning that my teacher, who is John Living, never used the word dowsing, because he said people get confused with the word dowsing. They just think it's a bunch of people out there with a branch, the Y branch, looking for water, a water witch. And he said people just get confused. So I never use the word dowsing. So John Living says, I always talk about intuition technology. So let's rebrand the course. Not on Friday. It's not a Dowsing 101 course. It is intuition technology. So if you want to learn how to receive crystal clear, accurate dowsing on command, if you want to start that path of discovery to get out of your ego and get into your true nature, so that you can trust you'll be in the right place at the right time to hear the voice of God or the God of your choice or whatever, then this course is for you. It will give you the stepping stones to take you from where you are to where you want to be. But I do have to say, like, the deep clearing protocol is one of those major steps. The more you do the work in clearing, the better you'll be able to understand this path. Now, having said that, the next logical step from the deep clearing protocol is to learn how to take this skill, receive guidance for your family, for your own benefit, for your business, and for your loved ones, and for your clients. So these are the stepping stones. Because I know Laura said, okay, well, I did the deep clearing, but what do I do next? This is what you do next, okay? This is the head.
Did I? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Makes
your
sense,
clients
though.
are saying, I did the deep clearing, but now what I do, and I go to the academy and there's too many things and I don't know what to choose, and And I'm saying, okay, well, we're rebuilding the academy. So here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, here's step 4. You know, we want to make it simple for you, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we say dowsing 101, but really that could get you off track, right? And by the way, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, my rod and my staff accompany me. My rod is a rod. Okay?
They comfort me.
My staff is a measuring tool.
Right. My
It's
staff.
like a wizard staff. Stop getting freaked out that dowsing is somehow contrary to Christianity. It's not. It's not witchcraft.
Well,
This
even
is increasing
my
your
mom
sense.
has said
This is,
that
this
that
is increasing your sensitivity.
water witches, right?
What's that?
My mom said that back in the day when she was young, they used to call them water witches.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah,
When
there's
you were
nothing
away. That
Yeah, right.
dowsing is way more than water witching. Dowsing is what I call training wheels for guidance on demand. So really we're talking about intuition technology. How can you increase your intuitive abilities as an empath so that they're favorable for you? We help you get out of overwhelm, know what your unique gifts are so you can deliver them to the world. And part of that is being able to receive crystal clear guidance and that you can trust. So how do you know that it's good guidance? Well, dowsing teaches you what is reliable and what isn't reliable. And the more that you do that, the more you trust, the more you trust, and the more you have a covenant with source consciousness, the more it flows, the more you open up, and the more you get full body consciousness flowing through. Like Laura, do you use dowsing tools very often? No.
No.
Why? Because you get it directly.
Right.
But
Right.
and so Laura had to do it in reverse. Well, why would I learn this dowsing stuff? Because it's training wheels for guidance.
It was very like uncomfortable for me. I was like, I feel, and I didn't feel confident in it when I was just like, so I'm asking yes or no, and I've already been answered no, and then all of a sudden it'll start turning no, and I'm like,
Yeah, but you've learned how to do percentages and all sorts of things. And for those that don't have their dad giving them the bullshit meter, this is a really good thing. What is integrity between me and this person? Or should I have a business relationship with this person? I use it all the time on a scale of 0 to 100. And if it's not 90, 95, and 100, I'm not working with the person.
Sometimes and this is what, forgive me, but I'm just getting this, like, sometimes your dowsing will say, yes, you need to work with them, but it's not because that it's going to save you from like what happened to you before, but teach you a lesson that about who and what your abilities are, and then to use discernment. So
yeah, well, you can ask that question.
if it doesn't feel right to you, right, after a while, so let's say stop spirit. So let's say it felt and it doused out really good in the beginning, but then halfway through or like whatever, it started to not feel right. Like, why am I doing that? Like, why am I sending them money instead of just giving them healing? That to me was like a
clue is
sign for me.
It doesn't feel right. The first clue always is it doesn't feel right.
Right. And because there was a spell that was being cast and like deception being placed upon the whole thing.
I still can't understand it. We're nearly at the top of the hour, but
okay.
I don't think Gerald actually understands what that spell's all about. That's the scary part.
Well, I think that there's more people around him.
That's what I mean.
Doing the work.
He doesn't understand that yet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not for us to deal with. That's for him to deal with it. But obviously God was like, hey, Laura, step in here, help him. That's why we need one another. Please remember that. No matter what goes on from beginning to end, as you work with other people, we need everybody. And people will give us, like, one of my clients who is just now starting to open up, has given me amazing feedback and has like, it's amazing. And right, she just started out. So we can learn from everybody. It's
Well, the
amazing.
important thing is that, you know, that's why the dowsing and energy healing group on Facebook is so powerful. I think of it's 4,000 people
Yeah.
that are wanting to learn the same thing. I mean, if we could get 4,000 people to actually do a clearing, which, you know, virtually impossible, but, you know, worth thinking about. Do you imagine how much energy there is to bring about change and transformation? I mean, the power of a group mind. So this is why, as an empath, look, you're not here to fit in, right? So you need to find a tribe of like-minded people that you can play with that makes you feel secure in your own skin, so you can then be part of a group that understands you, supports you, to help you deliver your unique gifts to the world. They understand you, they've got your back. That's what the Dowsing and Energy closed Facebook group is all about. But we're at the top of the hour, or very close to it, and I just
We are.
I'm excited because tomorrow Carla comes on and talks about the Empath's weekly forecast.
She's so wonderful. I love her here.
Yeah. So that's gonna, and you know, if you would like to have an update of what's happening for you in a psychic reading, I think we can encourage Carla to stay on and play with us. And so it's your opportunity to phone in and get a mini reading, right? Like what's up in your life, right? Right, Laura?
Yes, that's the best part of this show is when we can do readings.
That's right. And by the way, we're bringing more gifted people on next week. We're going to have a show. We'll talk about that on Monday. Who is our guest in the week? But more people want to, hey, I want to be on the show. Can I come and play with you guys? And I'm saying, well, maybe. Okay.
We'd like to play.
Yeah. All right. Bye for now. Thanks for showing up. Until tomorrow, be safe, be healthy, be wise. And we'll catch you tomorrow with Carla. It's the Carla Show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.